Things just took a major turn. Have to make both sides happy. How does Tom Fitzgerald make that work? There is value here. Implications, let's break it down. Welcome, Devil fans. Glad you're here with us today. Hopefully you'll be here with us for the summer. Hit the subscribe button to talk all things Devils. Now, offseason continues to go on. We're already just a week away from August, and something that's kind of been at the start of the summer and hasn't gone away are the Dougie Hamilton trade rumors. Obviously, at the beginning of the summer, he put in his 10-team trade list. Don't know which teams are on that, but it's been something that keeps spinning around, circling around. Don't expect it to go anywhere. He's one of the better defensemen in the NHL. He's someone on the Devils who has value, who they are willing to, looks like, at least listen to opportunities to part ways. Frank Saravelli had a comment today. Dougie Hamilton, I don't know that teams are necessarily lining up to get Dougie Hamilton off your hands at that cap hit. The Devils are going to make some different decisions. So basically what Frank Saravelli is saying is that, Dougie Hamilton's cap may be a little bit too much that teams want to deal with. And, when they signed the contract, I think they knew that later years, it might have been a little bit more difficult to move off of him. If, maybe he had some injuries, game dipped a little bit older, you might have a tougher time moving off of him. So I thought it would be fun to, put some teams together who have some cap space, who could make this work, and put together 3 different mock trades that I think could happen and are realistic where it works for both teams. Obviously, the Devils are looking to get rid of some cap, but they need some value back. So starting off, I think what these are centered around is the Devils want some type of center back. So I went over to Nashville to start this off. Dougie Hamilton retained $2 million per year, and Fedor Svechkov, first-round pick, and a Carolina fifth-round pick that Nashville has right now coming back the other way. Now, you could say, Nashville, not a great team last year, are a little bit older. Why would they be interested in Dougie Hamilton? Well, I don't think Barry Trotz is interested in a rebuild. I don't know how long he's going to be there. I don't think he's looking at tearing this down. He just signed Steven Stamkos and Johnathan March or so. A year later, he's going to say, well, you know what? I read that wrong. We're not a team that can contend right now. We're not a good enough team. No, Nashville needs to find a way to get good right now. I mean, Barry Trotz knows that. And Barry Trotz, if you remember his time with, the Islanders and the Capitals, and even before when he was still the coach of the Nashville Predators, he was a fan of veterans. He didn't like to play the young guys. Fedor Svechkov, former first-round pick in 2021, has some talent. He's a third-line center right now. Devils could use that. And when you look at the Predators and Barry Trotz, and they want to contend, you can't contend with that right side defense. It's just not going to work. You have 2 defensemen who are, questionable NHLers. And then, Barron on your right side playing with Roman Josi. You got to look a little bit better than that if you want to contend if you're Nashville. And that's what Nashville wants to do. Nashville doesn't want to rebuild. Barry Trotz knows that when he came in here, he basically set the tone that we're ready to win right now. Well, it didn't go well last year. You got to make some changes. You look to it. Dougie Hamilton, maybe put him with Brady Shea. I mean, they were together in Carolina, maybe played on different pairings, but you know what? Players who have played together, there's familiarity. Barry Trotz, big fan of familiarity. He likes having veterans. Dougie Hamilton, a veteran, knows what he's getting out of, bottom 2 guys in Perbix. You don't know as much. I mean, these were defensemen, played a little bit better in college, got NHL chances. You don't know where they're going to be. Blankenberg, Perbix, I don't think Barry Trotz is wowed by that. I don't think he's, going over the moon. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to win now. I think he knows he needs to. I don't know how much longer he's going to be there. I could see Nashville very interested, especially with their cap room. Next trade that I went with. Look, this one would be a little bit more of a blockbuster. Mason McTavish. I mean, I don't know why, but for some reason, Anaheim, doesn't seem convinced with him. Verbeek has made a lot of questionable moves. He's a general manager who went and he took Jacob Trouba's contract on full term. So I don't think you got to take off much off Dougie Hamilton. Dougie Hamilton is a much better player. Would make that defense better right away. You want to move off another one of your young forwards. They just moved off Trevor Zegras. Mason McTavish's name is out there. Is that another forward they could move off of? Now, New Jersey would need to give up something for it. Because, yes, I said it before. You're not just selling Dougie Hamilton. This isn't just a complete cap dump. You need value back. But when you look at a player who was a third overall pick just a little while ago, and you're talking about a defenseman who's been injured 3 out of the past 4 seasons, is getting older, other side of 30, maybe a down year last year, maybe down 2 years, although there were injuries, you're going to need to give up a little bit more. But a first-round pick and a fifth-round pick in 2027, I do it. You create room for maybe, obviously a Luke Hughes extension. Maybe going to get a little bit more better in your top 6. Maybe the brothers out there. Those type of things for me make sense to attach a first-round pick, especially when you're getting back Mason McTavish, who went 3rd overall and still has a ton of upside. Those type of players, I'm okay with putting in my bottom 6 and wanting the upside. If he just is a 50-point player, well, you have a 50-point player as your third-line center. You get the most out of guys like Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier, having the best center duo in the league. You get the most out of it when you have a solid third-line center. Now, you don't have to go crazy in terms of paying, but you want to have a solid third, fourth-line center. I think you have a solid fourth-line center in Cody Glass. I don't think you have a top third-line center in Cody Glass. Mason McTavish, I think you already, put yourself arguably one of the best in the league, maybe the best center group in the NHL. So I think whenever you can get the best or close to the best at something, you do it. Tom Fitzgerald, he knows that. He knows Mason McTavish's name is out there. We know that Pat Verbeek does make trades. He's not afraid to move off young forwards. Whether it's right or wrong, he does it. He had no problem moving off of Trevor Zegras. And you know what? I don't think he got great value back. So would you have to do maybe, Dougie Hamilton and a first-round pick and a fifth-round pick the following year? You might not even have to do all of that. You might be able to get away with maybe a second-round pick. It really depends where Pat Verbeek is, what they think. Anaheim, a lot of young defensemen there. Maybe they could use, a fill-in gap there and make a trade with New Jersey. And then the final trade I have with the San Jose Sharks. Look, they have 2 first-round picks next year. They need an offensive defenseman. So I think that they'd be willing to move off of one of their first-round picks and then add on a 4th-round pick. Dougie Hamilton, full cap, because right now, San Jose, they have younger players, but they're very far off of the cap. They have a ton of cap room, as you saw on the graphic earlier in the video. A ton of cap room. They can do it. They can go get, an offensive defenseman, which is what they need. They need offense on the back end. Let Sam Dickinson continue to develop. Go get your offensive defenseman. Because, look, they have a ton of young forward talent. I think they'd be okay moving off a first-round pick if they have something that they already know that they can get. Because Dougie Hamilton, I don't see him as a player who's just going to completely fall off the grid. I see him still as a top defenseman. But, you look over at San Jose's blue line, the right side, yeah, they need a defenseman. They're actually in desperate need. All 3 of those guys right there might not be there, 2 years down the line. Dougie Hamilton, I think, could still be there and be a strong fit for San Jose. And San Jose, I think, would value a Dougie Hamilton. Now, obviously, if you're New Jersey, I said, this isn't just a cap dump. You have to get value back. Well, first-round pick, that's valuable. Having some type of cap to maybe already know the next move you're going to do, that's valuable. So I think all 3 of these trades, they're interesting ones. Obviously, Devils, they know what Dougie Hamilton's 10-team trade list is. We don't. Maybe all 3 of those teams are on there, and these aren't possible. But those are some trades with teams that have the cap space to make it work and give value back to New Jersey. It'll be interesting to see. Let me know. Throw some mock trades down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Hopefully you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys all really soon.